Last week alone, many new topics dominate the world's top headlines, be it Trump's impeachment, Brexit's extension, and the floods in Venice. Now, quick show of hands, how many people here have read about these topics in depth over the past few days? Anyone? Well, what if we could tell you that we could do this in under 5 minutes? We are XSNews, and our mission is to reinvent how you today consume the news.
Nowadays, the credibility of almost anything can be challenged. More and more important articles are being blocked behind subscription paywalls as publishers struggle to make revenue. The world has never been so hard to understand, and the amount of news available to us is simply staggering. And yet, less and less young people are getting involved in current affairs, which shouldn't be a surprise given that
these are current options. Teenagers these days can either get their news of articles which are lengthy, expensive, and targeted at adults, or they could get their news off social media, news that is uncredible, opinionated, and sensationalized. Now, as teenagers, we didn't find either of these options to be too appealing, and so
it's okay if I just press that. So we made XSNews, a news app that aims to make complicated articles extra small. Users can scroll through news categories at the top and through articles at the bottom. Users have access to sites from a multitude of different sources, and also they can, the best part, the news is easy. It's simple, short, and summarized. When people think of news, they think of long, heavy articles that leave them more lost than before, but that is not how news should be. XSNews enables you to experience news that's easy to follow and easy to digest.
So now, a free summarizing news app targeting teenagers. The premise is simple enough, but it has never been done yet. So why start now? Well, here are some facts. Last year alone, $1.9 trillion of revenue was generated off the mass media industry alone. Now, the average adult spends 30 minutes reading the news every day. Here is the question we have for all the teenagers in the room today. If the average adult can do it, then why can't we? With the rise in technology, all anyone really needs to access news is a phone and the internet. Now, to see if teenagers really wanted news, we made an MVP, our Instagram page, to test our core features and to see if teenagers really wanted news. Now, on our page, we would regularly post summarized articles on current affairs. In just a month, we've gained over 1,000 real and active followers. Now, based off a survey we have conducted on hundreds of teenagers, most of the people interacting with our app are teenagers who live in urban cities, which is exactly the market we are targeting. Now, over 60% of our respondents have said that they have read news at least several times a week, showing that yes, teenagers really do want news. We want a reliable platform to get our news from, but we lack one. Our total attainable market is the global population of news readers with internet access at just over 1.1 billion people. Now, of these people, 353 million are teenagers living in Southeast Asia. If we were to assume a 10% market share, that would bring our sizable obtainable market to 36 million people, a market that is expected to grow by 5% annually.
On XSNews, users don't have to pay a single cent. Instead, we'll make most of our revenue from ads and premium features. We'll source our articles from news media outlets in which they give us permission to reproduce and summarize in return for higher user traffic. We will license paid articles from subscription-based news outlets in which we will summarize and provide for our premium customers who pay lower prices for more content. We have verified our business model by getting signed letters of intent from Huawei, CNN, and Gatra, Indonesia's leading news outlet. Here is our competition. Although all of them successful in their own ways, none of them address all the points that XSNews does. Two of our competitors, Smart News and Google News, both have over 20 million users monthly. Two of our parallel competitors, Smart News and Feedly, both have raised over $100 million in funding. This clearly shows there's some great potential in news aggregation. But unlike XSNews, none of them make news easier to consume.
We have split our long-term plan into three: content management, app development, and marketing. We are currently working with news corporations in order to secure the rights to reproduce and summarize their articles. Now, by December, we plan to begin initial app development, and by March, we plan to roll out a beta version of our app. In June, we project a user base of over 10,000, and we plan to reach this through extensive marketing and advertising campaigns. With just $50, we have managed to create a working summarizing algorithm, conduct extensive market research, and grow our user base to over 1,000. Now, with $10,000, we could also begin initial app development and fine-tune our algorithm, giving us a user base of 10,000 by June and a monthly revenue of $2,400 US. Now, with $50,000, we could do so much more. We could also hire a part-time media manager. We could also conduct extensive advertising and marketing campaigns, and we could also start a website. Now, under this scenario, we are projected to reach 50,000 users by the end of next year, allowing us to break even in just 18 months and allowing us to earn a monthly revenue of $12,000, which is projected to increase exponentially.
For now, we are a team of 3. I have worked with large news corporations such as CNN and the Straits Times, and have also founded a fintech called Chabibo Pay. Marco is a senior news editor and is also the winner of an entrepreneurial challenge hosted by Credit Suisse in 2018. Kyron Tan, our chief editor, is also a senior news editor and has also worked with TEDx Youth last year. Together, we make XSNews, turning XSNews into XS News. Thank you.
Follow our Instagram.
Well, I work for a media company. I feel, can you look back when they were talking about accountants and partnerships? Yeah, so basically you are proposing giving traffic and exposure to the premium content providers, but do they really care? They don't. They have already set their name in the market. What they really care is the traffic on their own site so that they can generate their own revenue. So how you propose your content strategy? Are you going to really create content yourself, or you're just digesting existing content, and that's probably going to be quite expensive.
Alex, can you go back to the product slide? Well, so recently we have arranged meetings with the Indonesian news outlet Gatra and a spokesperson from Huawei, and they have both agreed to a partnership in the future. But to clarify, there are 2 tabs on that page, and one of them says full. So now our premise is to get people who aren't interested in news start reading the news. So they could get a summarized version under the XS News tab, but if they wanted to know more about the news, then they'd click the full tab and they'd be redirected to the actual article. Now, in enabling users to do this, it would increase the user traffic to the actual news sites and enable them to get more ad revenue.
People questions related to your algorithm. So, what is the algorithm you're looking at?
Well, we've actually got the algorithm to a stage where it can condense text to what it feels is the most relevant. So right now we're only basing it on one thing, which is the relevancy and the amount that the sentences show up on the internet. But in the future, we aim to expand this actually by the end of the year until it sources more relevancy.
Well, currently, our algorithm can summarize news up to 8 times faster than if we were to do it manually, but we still do require some small edits for clarity and grammar. But on the whole, we have tested our algorithm on the news articles which we post on our Instagram page, and they seem to be all right for now.
So what is your experience of this one, just you as a team on AI and algorithms that I explained?
So yeah, I've been learning to code for 3 years, and basically what I've done is just used open API technology for this, which I found, and we combined it together to make basically a web crawling service for this, and yeah.
Okay, and final question, also related to the skill set. What specific skills along these lines do you want to acquire in the next, say, 6 months?
Wait, could you repeat that question?
Yeah, so I'm just not what experience you have now. What skills, what specifically do you want to learn on this tech side in the next 6 months, and how would you go about learning?
Well, yeah, definitely more about the coding, and since right now we're just using algorithms, but if we could expand to machine learning or AI, that would be excellent. So hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll learn how to do a bit of that. And I guess also on the grammar and editing side, that also has to be a bit worked on.
Are you allocating goals or curating, selecting certain news pieces that you think that the youth would want to digest?
Well, not really. Our premise is to make news accessible to all, and for now we are targeting youth because we ourselves are youth and we feel passionately about teenagers being more involved in current affairs. But to clarify, what we want to do is to get people more involved in news first, and one of the ways we do that is by curating the news. So when youth enter our site, as if they were entering Pinterest, there would be a page where they could write which types of news that they want, and they could also basically tailor their own experience so they get the articles and the topics that they care about. So we want to make sure that each user only gets the news that they want.
Your product is like Flipboard, except you are summarizing all the news pieces. Is that how it works?
Well, yes, but aside from what Flipboard does, we also, because we ourselves have tried downloading Flipboard because we saw the problem, and we feel that's a bit too chaotic and it's a bit too general, and we want to make ours only have credible news sites such that because earlier on we talked about how social media has uncredible news and there are all sorts of problems with the news. So we want to kind of make another platform for youth like social media and get them equally invested, but retain the professionalism and the credibility of the news.
What is your top plan for artificial intelligence to take over? Like right now, I believe there is still some like human involvement. Like what's your plan? The transition.
Oh yeah, we hope to get to a stage where the AI will just generate the keywords or the key importance of the articles. But right now, yeah, we still have to cut out some words of our current algorithm. So yeah, that would be the hope in the future. Thank you.